Have you ever felt that despite having a good life, something is still missing? Many of us believe that true happiness is just around the corner, waiting for us in a bigger house, a fatter bank account, or the perfect partner. But is that really the truth? And why, even when we get everything we've ever wanted, do we sometimes feel a lingering emptiness? Let's explore this through a story. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled by a dense forest, lived three brothers, Roshan, Sami, and Dami. They lived a simple life in a modest cottage left to them by their parents. Known throughout the village for their honesty and hard work, they spent their days cutting wood in the forest and selling it at the market. But despite their efforts, a quiet sense of discontent followed them. Something was missing. One evening, as they sat around a crackling fire, Roshan broke the silence. "What is the real purpose of life?" he asked, his eyes lost in the flames. "I think," he continued, "I would finally be happy if I had a big, beautiful house." Sami, the middle brother, nodded slowly. "I dream of a huge farm," he said, "with endless crops, so we'd never have to toil like this again." The youngest, Dami, simply smiled. "All I want," he confessed, "is a beautiful wife who loves me and waits for me to come home each day." Their dreams were different, but the feeling of emptiness was the same. They had enough to live, but they weren't truly happy. A few days later, while returning from the forest, they saw an old man slumped by the roadside, looking utterly exhausted. Beside him was a heavy-looking basket. The brothers, without a second thought, rushed to help. "Grandfather," they offered, "can we carry this basket for you?" The old man managed a weak smile and nodded. "Thank you, my sons. It's full of apples I gathered. My home isn't far." Roshan, Sami, and Dami took turns carrying the heavy basket. The path was long, the load was heavy, but they didn't complain. When they finally reached the old man's humble home, a strange sense of peace settled over them. The old man, now looking more refreshed, smiled warmly. "I won't forget your kindness," he said. "You are hardworking and sincere, and those qualities always open new doors. Tell me, what is your greatest wish in life?" Encouraged by his kindness, the brothers shared their dreams. Roshan's grand house, Sami's sprawling farm, and Dami's loving wife. The old man listened intently. "Your dreams are not impossible," he said after a moment. "In the next town, a wealthy businessman seeks honest men to help him. If you work diligently, he will reward you and help you achieve your goals." Filled with new hope, the brothers set off for the town. They began working for the businessman, and their lives quickly changed. Roshan's sharp mind for business helped him save enough money to build his dream house. Sami's knowledge of the land impressed a local landlord, who gave him a fertile plot to start his own farm. And Dami, with his kind heart, won the affection of the businessman's daughter, and soon they were married. At first, it was like a fairy tale. Their lives were filled with excitement and joy. They had everything they had ever wished for. But as time went on, things began to change. A year later, Roshan started feeling lonely in his grand mansion. He had servants for everything and found himself becoming distant and isolated. The once lively house felt cold and empty. Sami, on his vast farm, was overwhelmed with responsibility. The dream he had cherished was now a source of constant anxiety. He worried about pests, storms, and anything that could threaten his crops. Sleepless nights became his new reality. Meanwhile, Dami found that the initial spark in his marriage had faded. His wife's beauty no longer seemed so special, and her small complaints started to irritate him. The warmth they once shared was gone. Once again, the three brothers felt that familiar emptiness. They had achieved everything they wanted, yet true happiness was still out of reach. Wealth, land, and love had brought them fleeting joy, but not lasting fulfillment. On a cold winter day, they decided to seek out the old man again. After a long search, they found him sitting peacefully by his fire. The warmth of the flames was a small comfort in their despair. "Grandfather," Roshan began, "we need your help. Our wishes came true, but we are still not happy." The old man smiled gently. "Sons," he said, "true happiness doesn't come from what you possess. It comes from being grateful for what you already have. You have everything, yet you lack gratitude. And without gratitude, any happiness you find will quickly fade away." The brothers stood in silence, the truth of his words washing over them. "Gratitude is the key," the old man continued. "Appreciate what you have, learn to enjoy it. Happiness will follow naturally." With a newfound sense of clarity, the brothers returned home. Their perspective had shifted. Roshan stopped seeing his house as a burden and started filling it with friends and laughter. Sammy learned to appreciate each harvest, finding joy in the process rather than just the outcome. And Dami rediscovered the love for his wife, focusing on her kindness and companionship. Their lives were transformed. Instead of worrying about what they might lose, they started enjoying what they had. They finally understood the secret. Happiness isn't found in getting more, but in embracing each moment with a grateful heart. Remember, if we learn to appreciate what we have, happiness will always be our companion. If you enjoyed this story and its message, please give this video a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.